Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, No More Secrets. As always, I'm your aunt, Mary Albrecht.
And I'm your niece, Katie Albrecht. And we have some really exciting stuff we want to show you. I don't know if you can see what's on my shirt or not. Shall I show all you guys up close?
Yeah. It's, and here's my shirt.
But we have some cool merch.
Tote bag.
Exciting. Yeah, that's Mary's shirt. We also have some mugs back here, if you can see. But
Mug.
we were kind of excited about this. Travis worked with an artist, an old friend of his, and to design this. And we think it's kind of a cool representation of us.
And it's got the cats on it.
It's got the cats on it. It looks like our logo kind of, and it's just, I like it. The shirt's really comfortable. I'm having a great time.
I really like the shirt too, but I don't look as pretty in it as Katie, so I just let her wear it, and then I could wear my polka dots.
Yeah, you can wear your polka dots. That's okay.
But I like the shirt. I just didn't want to look so mousy next to you.
Oh, thanks.
Maybe I already do, or still do.
Yeah, I get straight mouse vibes from you when I look at you. Maybe that's why your cats like you so much. They like to, mess with you a little bit.
Speaking of cats, we were just thinking that maybe Katie should have another cat.
Yeah.
Does Matt listen to this?
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Okay. So anyway.
So let's tell him now.
Right. Well, because
Matt.
Lando is so lonely. So Katie's cat has been alone now for 8 hours a day for 4 days.
Yeah, it's kind of a shock to him and everything.
So he's all needy. I think he needs a kitten. Right.
I think he needs a baby brother or something.
Yeah. Right, Matt?
Yeah. We'll know if he listens. He'll give me a comment about it.
We'll
yeah.
find out. Yeah. What the heck? Yeah.
But yeah, so we have merch. We actually have you can get it through our Patreon through subscribing. There's a bunch of different levels that you can check out and stuff. But our Patreon you can find on our website at thealbrechtauthors.com. So give it a look. We would love, obviously, your support, and we will keep putting out cool stuff like this.
Right. There's different tiers, and you get, besides merch, you also get access to some other things like behind the scenes content, which, believe it or not, is goofier than we are. Way goofier. But it's entertaining.
Which is funny because we don't cut out a lot.
Right.
But the stuff that you guys haven't seen is actually pretty...
we get
we're
going,
so
man.
Endearing.
Yeah, we are.
It catches us in our best moments, we're just in good moods usually.
Yeah, and just things are just so random. Just whatever comes out of our mouth, it's perfect. Now, do they go to the ALBrechtAuthors.com and then go to the podcast page for the Patreon link? I think so, is what Travis said. So
we don't have it set up yet. So
it's not there?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you don't see it on the home page, go to the podcast page.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. We'll link it in the in the bio too.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah. Did you just wave?
I just waved. I don't know why. I have a sip of wine.
And for more content like that, go visit our Patreon.
I mean, $3 a month, guys,
Yeah,
maybe $5 a month.
You get the good shit.
Yeah, but we would really appreciate your support. We really would, because
we've been doing this for about a year now.
And this is the season 4, and we've got over 60 episodes. They're not all on YouTube, but we have a lot on audio. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of work. But I would really like to be able to keep going with it, because I really think it's a great message to keep talking about mental health. Mm-hmm. And we want to just, keep spreading the message that it's okay. No, whatever it is, it's okay to talk about,
Right, because it takes a weight off of you, too, when you do ultimately talk about what's going on in your life, no matter how severe it is. It just, when it's all stuck inside of you, I think it really messes people up. So letting it out and being able to talk about it is actually huge.
And talking about it on air, for me, is huger.
Huger. She's a writer.
I'm a writer. Because the idea that it's out there on the internet and anybody could be listening and it's recorded and it's there forever is even more therapeutic for me than just talking one-on-one to a therapist or just to you or any friend or whatever. Because, you know, you just are really raw when you're sharing to people you don't know, you know?
True.
Yeah. And it could, you know,
I mean, we were even saying with the book talks versus, because we used to go do a lot of talks for our book, Broken Neck.
Right here.
Oh, how convenient. But we used to do a lot of talks like that, and there's something about being able to talk to a microphone or just talking to you with the microphone is so different than talking to a crowd of, you know, 100 people or whatever.
With the microphone, like when we did that, you mean?
Yeah.
It's better or worse?
It's better.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, I guess you do use a microphone in those situations too, but that's not what I meant.
You meant that having the crowd of strangers is different.
It's different than just sitting and having a conversation with each other.
And doing it on air, remember I said they don't have eyeballs?
Yeah, that helps.
But I think everybody does have eyeballs.
I mean, everybody is a generalized statement. You don't know.
I don't
what
know
people are going through.
Yeah, it's true.
They could very well have had an accident or something.
And have no eyeballs. I mean, sometimes the eyeballs don't work, but I think they still have eyeballs. But maybe they don't if they got taken out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm
It's
punchy.
Just got dark.
I just am so punchy tonight. You know, it's like 50 degrees and horizontal rain and wind and all this. And yesterday was 82 and sunny. Welcome to Illinois. Welcome to the Midwest.
Midwest, yeah.
Right. So it's kind of depressing. But anyway,
but we have an actual topic for
we
you guys
do.
today.
We
Yeah.
do. Okay, so I would like to talk about foggy brains, you know, brain fog, whatever you want to call it. And the reason I want to talk about it is I can't stop thinking about Grandpa with his dementia. And I know it really frustrated him at the end of his life because he knew his brain was getting foggier and foggier, and he used to hit himself in the head and just be like, what's happening to me? And it's just been kind of haunting me. And I started to really think about how that must feel. And then I realized I actually know how that feels because I am anemic. I'm treated, so right now I'm not foggy, but there have been times when I got so anemic that you feel like you're losing your mind. And I started to think about all the different ways that you can lose your mind, like dementia. You can get, well, age, right? ADD,
I just pictured
anemia. What?
I just pictured like your mind as like a physical object, and then you're like, you can't find it. Where's my
Because
mind?
she has ADD and she loses
This happens
things.
to me. Yeah, like it's like you can't find your keys or something in the morning, and it's like, where's my mind? Oh, it's in my hand, you know?
Oh, jeez. Shit. See, punchy. It's not just me.
It's a Thursday night that we're recording this, yeah.
Yeah, and we're a day late, but we were not feeling well earlier in the week. But anyway, so I started to think about the relationship between anemia and dementia and anemia and ADD, and then also just age and forgetfulness. And I started to do a little research on it, okay? And so we thought it would be an interesting mental health topic because losing your mind, you know, brain fog is really scary and really frustrating. So I know if you want to we thought maybe we'd share our personal stories with it and then relate it to the data and the research at the end. But you came up diagnosed ADD, right?
Yeah, I was diagnosed. It was my sophomore year of college, so I guess I was about 19 or 20. And I was about to flunk out of college.
Really? You were that close, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was on probation for 2 semesters, and they were like, if you don't get this together, you're out, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to flunk out. And I just, I saw that as a wake-up call, obviously. But I think the real alarming thing and where this whole thing started of me getting diagnosed as ADD was there was a class that I was really interested in. It was communications. I think it was like write like the 101 class or something like that. And I was like, wow, I really like this. It ended up being my major later.
Right.
And it was something that I thought I was engaged with and like trying really hard
Okay.
to like do well at. And there was one incident where the teacher said, or the professor said that there was an assignment due, and that I think there was like some rules about it that I wasn't aware of. So I turned in this assignment, and then she's like, no, you didn't do it right. Like this isn't, she tried to fail me on it pretty much. And I was like, how? I was paying attention this whole time.
I was interested.
Yeah. I know that I had problems paying attention with some stuff, but I always chalked it up to being just kind of I was spacey. I was out of it, or, you know, like I've had issues with it all of my life up until that point. And I remember I tried to like argue with her. I'm like, please, like, can I redo it? I guess I didn't understand. She's like, no, the assignment is the assignment. Like, you don't get another chance at this. And I started to cry. And,
Okay.
you know, she was a very strict professor, but I remember that she told me, she's like, maybe you should get checked out for ADD.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I was crying in a mess and everything and trying to really fight. Then, like, I did the assignment how I thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't even remember the details. She's like, yeah, you should get checked out. And it was because she was so strict about it, which at the time obviously sucked, but I appreciate it now more because it gave me more understanding of myself.
Right.
That I actually went to go get checked out for ADD, and lo and behold, I actually do have it. Or had it, or, you know, there's a lot of things that people say about it. The reason why I say past tense is because every therapist that I've talked to since then seems to think that ADD is like
Diagnosed?
overdiagnosed.
Yeah.
And it's not always about ADD. Sometimes it's just anxiety that gets misconstrued or something.
Sure.
So now I'm not sure, but that's what I was diagnosed at the time, and it helped me at the time because then I started to seek out help for how to focus more and how to actually go, like, you know, fight up against a uphill battle of not being able to pay attention or remember things, or
But you
sit down
also
and do my homework.
You went on medicine too, didn't you?
I went on medicine.
And did you notice a difference?
Yeah, the medicine helped. I think I stopped taking it because I don't like taking medicine like that regularly, especially seeing my dad. Like, it was...
Oh, well, yeah.
I was always scared that I would get addicted to it, and Ritalin isn't... I mean, people use it recreationally and get addicted to it, you know? Like, so it's... I was kind of, like, worried about that, and I didn't like how it felt after a while, so I was like, well, maybe I can just... Now that with the skills that I've learned, I can actually... do okay, and that's been pretty good for me. It's just
how long were you on the medicine?
I think it was a little less than a year.
Okay. And you said when you took your first dose, you felt like your whole body was like vibrating or something, or what, like just like on fire, or what was it?
It was kind of it was whizzing almost.
Whoa, like, just one pill, one dose?
One dose, yeah. I think it might have been 2 pills or something. I don't remember. But I remember laying in bed at my parents' house and kind of staring up at the ceiling and just like this. Like, felt like it was like an electric energy through me that was just like, I was sitting still, but I was moving. It was really, really weird. Like, I was almost in like hyperspeed and stuff. So
now it should calm you down. So that's where I wonder...
But, like, I wasn't even diagnosed as ADHD because there's 2 different versions of it. There's an inattentive version, and then there's, like, the hyperactive. I was inattentive. I was never, like, super hyperactive and, you know, all over the place.
Did you have problems in high school and grade school with focus?
Yeah. I mean, in grade school, no. I was really good at school. I was always in accelerated classes.
Yeah.
I don't know when it shifted exactly, but suddenly I just stopped being able to do like sit down and finish an assignment. Homework was always my biggest like struggle.
In grade school and high school too?
Yeah.
But you probably could get away with it because you were smart enough to be able to.
I could
yeah.
coast enough to
Yeah.
I could get passing enough grades, you know.
Right. Yep.
I never was on the honor roll, unfortunately. Though, I mean, with more life experience and more practice and everything, I feel like if I went back to school today, I feel like I would do a good job.
Yeah, you're a lot different even from when I quote met you. Really got to know you. You're a lot more focused. You're a lot more grown up and just
Right.
together. So
Yeah, and it took a while and took a lot of learning skills and stuff, but
and also just being away from the stress of your dad, I think has helped. So you start to wonder if some of that spaciness wasn't just because of so much on your shoulders with just the kind of life you had growing up.
And that's what I'm saying. The therapist I went to since then was thinking it might have been anxiety.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Anxiety / depression, both,
Right.
which I think they usually go hand in hand.
But it's interesting because in this article that we printed out.
I printed out like this many things. I'm so sorry, recyclers, but I'm recycling it. But I just feel like, oh man, I killed a tree.
Yeah, full tree. Big one.
Okay, anyway.
But anyways, they were saying that ADD is linked to to not a lot of dopamine, correct, in the brain.
Right.
And I feel like that's also, you don't have a lot of dopamine when you're depressed.
Exactly.
Either. So I can see how it would be very, very similar, actually. Like you're forgetful when you're depressed and anxious because you have so much else that you're focused on. It's not necessarily that you're forgetful. It's just that you don't have the space and capacity to, remember all this other stuff.
Right. Similar. I bet you depression is also a cause of brain fog,
Right.
Probably without the dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good neurotransmitter in your brain, and Ritalin enhances the transmission of dopamine. It's a stimulant, and it makes dopamine flow easier and better.
I'm assuming Adderall probably does too then, right?
What's Adderall again?
It's the same concept as Ritalin. There's two different, it's like the same kind.
Okay.
They just have two different types, I guess.
And so they say you can enhance your dopamine with things like exercise, listening to music, anything that brings you pleasure releases dopamine. It's one of the feel goods. There's endorphins, there's serotonin, there's norepinephrine, there's dopamine. Those are all the things that antidepressants do too. So it's kind of interesting, but it's all linked in the same way. So depression, ADD, it's all the same kind of, I think it's an interesting connection. So it's like, really, what's causing the brain fog? Because now I have an article that...
Yeah, it's a melting pot of mental illness.
Yeah, I have an article, which I'll get into later, that says that like very large percentage of the people that are diagnosed with ADD are actually low iron. And low iron, you don't have enough oxygen to your brain. So it's similar because your brain isn't functioning right. So you're not getting your dopamine transferred. So,
that's another reason why I'm not sure if I've actually had ADD. Obviously I was diagnosed that, but I didn't ever have problem donating blood. Cheers.
Every time. Yeah, so you didn't ever get iron studies, but you definitely weren't anemic because they would take wouldn't they test you first to see if you were a candidate?
Yeah, always make sure that you have enough iron in your system. If you don't, then you get turned away.
Okay.
Pretty much. So I never had issues with that, and I've never, I don't know the other symptoms and stuff, but I'm assuming, as far as I know, I'm not anemic. Like, I don't think I have issues with iron.
Yeah, I can't imagine if they're allowing you to give blood. What did the CDC say, though, about helping with ADD? Just being healthy in general, but... Yeah,
being healthy in general, because... and this is just, they didn't explicitly say this, but I'm putting it together, I guess. The poor health in general is going to make you forgetful and spacey and out of it and everything. Like if you had like a big bad meal filled with stuff that's not good for you, like you feel kind of sluggish and off after that.
Yeah, and you're in a food coma.
Yeah.
Which is like that one time we have to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, it's just when your brain already has trouble remembering things and like focusing and keeping your emotions in check and stuff, you want to do everything you can to like prevent that. And if you're not being healthy or you're not doing everything that you can to make yourself feel better.
So it said something like it's even more important if you're ADD to eat right and exercise and get enough sleep and all that, because you're just already compromised.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got to like be able to give yourself the best shot at it, you know.
Got it.
But yeah, so the story you were talking about,
this is funny.
When I was on Ritalin, or actually I had just gotten off Ritalin.
So you when you were on it,
I was on it for probably a few months at this point, and then I just didn't take it that day for some reason.
And then okay.
So Ritalin is also an appetite suppressant.
So was your appetite suppressed when you were on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I still ate because I think I just, when I was younger a lot, I ate when I was bored.
Exactly. When you're supposed to be studying, but you're not because you're procrastinating.
Yeah, it's a full circle thing.
Or because you have ADD or whatever, so you eat and you clean instead of studying.
Me who never cleaned in college. If I had a paper to write, I would clean my whole room and do the dishes. And it's just like...
I know.
You would do anything to get out of studying, yeah. But so I came to visit, originally it was Grandma and Grandpa, but I figured since I was down here, this is when they were still alive, obviously, I went to visit them, and I was going to come and see you also around the same time, and I had just gotten off the meds, or I just missed it for a day or something. All I know is that I was not on it that day or those couple days. And Mary and I go out to lunch at Wildberry, which is like the breakfast place down the street,
and it's
from here.
Delicious.
Oh, it's great. They have omelets the size of footballs. Their salads are huge. I mean, there's pancakes. I mean, everything's good there. But I went there, and because all of a sudden I wasn't on this appetite suppressant anymore.
Okay.
I was literally insatiable. I could not stop eating because I was so hungry.
Because you ate an omelet and pancakes.
The football size omelet.
Yeah.
The
pancakes.
Full pancakes. I had the rest of your salad. I think I had extra like hash browns or something.
And then you ate a roll, and then you had fresh orange juice or a smoothie.
I had a smoothie. I could not
And then you had
eating.
dessert.
And then I had dessert. And this is, I can tell you guys, this is not my normal eating habit. Never was. Like, even when I was like in sports and stuff, I never ate that much.
I remember because so this was just when Katie was slowly starting to reach out to me. Times when we could get together without her dad knowing.
Pretty much.
And so I didn't really know her, and that wasn't a regular thing, but when it did happen, I always remember enjoying Katie's company, and so it was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's go to lunch. Well, I sat across the table from her just like, what the heck is going on? She just kept eating. And I didn't know if you were always that way or what.
Right, yeah, so you didn't really know me at that point. But the best part was, like, the intention of going down was to visit Grandma and Grandpa. And then I go there after this,
Right.
gorging myself pretty much. And I, like, pass out on one of their guest beds.
For the whole time.
Pretty much the whole time, because I was in a food coma and, like, completely just done for. Pretty much. So I saw them for maybe 15 minutes, and then I was like, I need to lay down. Just like right away.
Which for Grandma, that's not a good thing.
Oh yeah, she would have hated it. Yeah. I think she probably did, but she didn't say much. She's like, wow, you're very tired. Huh. Very, very tired. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm also, because it's a stimulant, I guess that was another thing.
Well, yeah, you were between the...
It was a withdrawal, I think, from the drug.
Yeah. Grandma did say something to me the next day, I think, that I don't think she necessarily knew you had seen me. I can't remember, but she did say that Katie came here and all she did was sleep. And then she kind of, like, before she left, she tried to sit for a little bit, but she was so out of it. So I don't really know why she came here.
I came here to gorge myself with Mary beforehand. That's it.
And I would have gotten blamed if you had said that to her.
Probably. I don't even know if I did, but yeah, it's just funny story.
Yeah, that was a one, again, before we really knew each other. But anyway, with my anemia, the funny thing about, or the odd thing about the kind of anemia I have is that it came on so slowly, and it's interesting how your body adapts.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically found out I had an intestinal bleed, a chronic bleed, but over the course of a year and a half, I had a very small bleed that I got a little bit tired, but then I adapted. And then, I got a little bit of weird skin stuff, but then I adapted. So a year and a half of this, my hemoglobin dropped from what it should be, which is around 13 or so, down to 4. Okay. And finally, I was getting mouth sores and I was foggy. And the problem with anemia is that the more foggy you get, the more you don't pay attention to your body,
Mm-hmm.
And so I, was coming up the stairs and my legs were aching and I felt like I was being strangled. I was out of breath. I'm like, oh my God, this must be old age, which it was 16 years ago. So I was 40. And finally I went to the doctor and I said, I got like tongue ulcers and all this. And she took blood. And then the next morning she said, you need to go to the hospital right now. Your hemoglobin is 4. You can't live at 4. You need blood transfusions. So I was admitted to the hospital. They gave me 3 liters of blood, and then they released me. I was only an 8 when I got released, which is still low, but then I started getting blood like every week after that for a while. Mm-hmm. And so to this day, I'm still anemic. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to repair the slow bleed in my intestines. It's from where I had a birth defect removed and it just won't heal. It's the weirdest thing. I've been to many, many doctors. I've had many surgeries. They've tried to resection it 3-4 times. They've tried to cauterize it. They've tried to freeze it. They've tried to glue it. I've tried different diets. I've tried not eating. I've tried eating certain ways. I've tried not drinking, believe it or not. I always have this chronic bleed. So for 16 years, I've been going to get iron every week so that my body makes my own blood. But then when I get low volume, I get a blood transfusion maybe every 3 months or so. So it's a weird situation. It's something that I live with. As long as I keep up with it, I feel fine. So, but what made me start thinking about Grandpa is that there are times when maybe it's worse. Okay, where I get like more bleeding and I don't know it because it's kind of hidden in the stool. And you can't really, you can sometimes see it, but
it all comes back to poop.
It all comes back to poop here at the Fitness Loft, just so you know. Anyway, but your mind, you start to slowly lose your mind. So you're feeling great, and then all of a sudden you're like there's like a little bit of fog rolling in, and then there's a little bit more fog rolling in. But then when it's so foggy that you can't see, you don't make the right decisions. So I don't think, maybe I need more iron. Like maybe I need to go 2 times a week. Maybe I need to call my doctor. I don't think of that stuff. And then I start making really bad decisions. So it's really a lot like dementia. And it really made me realize, you know what? I actually understand what Grandpa went through. You feel crazy, like you're losing your mind, and you can't snap out of it either because it's a chemical thing. So with anemia, you don't have enough blood flow. Okay, so you don't have enough hemoglobin, which transports oxygen in your blood, and so your brain doesn't get oxygen, and so you stop thinking clearly. Now, if that goes on for a long time, it can actually start killing parts of your brain, and so that's how low iron, which is what creates hemoglobin, which helps transport the oxygen to your brain. That's how low iron relates to dementia and also to ADD, because you're not getting oxygen to your brain, So, so therefore the dopamine isn't flowing as well and all of that. So, it's kind of all related, but it's a really scary thing to go through when you're in it. Like, especially
when you, at the time, you were like 40, you were young in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah, and I didn't know what I was I didn't understand what I was dealing with. Now it's not as scary, but like, didn't you feel like you were losing your mind when you were talking to that professor, and saying, I listened, I did the assignment, what are you talking about, when you were crying and all that? Don't you feel like you're like crazy? Like you're like, oh my God, but I'm not, no, that's not what I meant,
Yeah. No, you feel like you're doing everything you can and listening and paying attention and stuff. I notice how it's always when I'm talking.
Well, that's because that's when I drink.
I'm going to start doing it too now, every time you talk.
She's drinking water.
Just make it super.
To bring the attention back.
Tension's on me here.
Hello.
No, it is scary though. It's like the way you're processing the world is not the way that it is, and that's like, oh my gosh,
And you really mean well, right?
Yeah. And you really think that you are processing it, and it's
and then when people
terrible
kind of either reprimand you or hold you responsible, but you're like, it's not my fault, like I didn't, I'm trying really hard here, so.
Right. Which I think, okay, in both of our scenarios, I think it was good that we got diagnosed, because then we can start to figure out new practices and how to get better after that,
Right. Yep.
Which is huge.
Yeah, I was actually kind of relieved when I knew, because I thought, oh my God, I'm losing my mind.
And then, so when you started getting iron, your memory came back a little bit, like you were more functional?
Oh man, it was like night and day in terms of the clarity. And I think, again, that's like depression. What's that little smirk it got on your face?
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. See, we were talking about this earlier. I thought you were going to break into some kind of joke, because you had a little smile. Because Katie was saying earlier that the one thing and the only thing she misses about masks is that she's able to hide her very expressive mouth. And not speech-wise, just like expressions.
You say so much with how your mouth is positioned.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be as condescending as I feel like I had been, like, under the mask,
Because sometimes you're like...
Like, if there's someone... Okay, for instance, if you're in line at the grocery store and then someone in front of you is like, complaining about something, I always just kind of sit there like
the mouth.
But I feel like if I just do that, like you can hide it with the eyes a little bit more.
Because the eyes, maybe look a little disturbed, but not anything like the mouth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The mouth like really sells it,
Yeah.
And now I can't hide that. And it's like.
But you're still able to wear masks.
True. But I'm fully vaccinated. So I don't want to do that.
I know. But it's like, really forever we can wear masks if we want. We can go into banks with masks now. We could just rob them. And be okay.
True. And then if people feel more comfortable doing that,
more power to you. But it's not worth hiding the mouth expression. But you do have an expressive mouth, because you kind of turned up at the corner. So
I know. I can't control it. It just comes out. It was funny. I didn't know what you were going to bring up. I'm like, what were we talking about before?
It's probably related to ADD and brain fog, the mouth.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right?
So, but I do want to talk a little bit about the connection of anemia to dementia, because now I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to get dementia. Okay, here's my papers. I'm so old that I actually highlighted some of the pages with a highlighter. So... okay, but hemoglobin, just so you know, this is from Medical News Today, which is a really credible source. And it's
Told you I was going to do it.
It's perfect timing. I was getting all serious,
I like clunked it so loud and you didn't even hear it.
At first I didn't
You didn't even pay attention, so I'm like, I gotta.
When did this slurping? I didn't notice.
Anyways, continue.
Until you slurped. Oh shit. Okay. Hemoglobin is a protein present in red blood cells. It's a protein. Okay. Look at my highlights. like a good student. It is responsible for carrying life-giving oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. Okay? just so you know what it is. Now, hold on.
Okay.
The presence of anemia was associated with a 34% increase in the risk of dementia and a 41% increase for specifically Alzheimer's disease. That's a pretty large percentage.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the concern for it.
Because with dementia, your parts of your brain die. So it can happen from brain trauma, like how they talk about the athletes. Are you doing that smile again?
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to like stretch out my neck, and then it's just kind of
okay. Makes you happy.
I'm trying to look nice on camera, Mary.
It's just a lot of pressure. That's why I didn't wear that T-shirt.
So I don't have a resting bitch face, that kind of thing. Just look happy to be here.
So brain trauma. With the athletes, how they get crazy later because their brain dies, like football players that get knocked around so much. And in Grandpa's case, he had a really bad car accident that ended up with a subdural hemorrhage, and he had to have brain surgery. I mentioned that a few weeks ago on the podcast. But then he had no what.
I just can't stop now. I'm thinking about the slurping.
Okay, this is, you guys all get this, but this is what you might see on Patreon if you were to subscribe.
I feel like there's some stuff
moments like this where we just get going. Okay, but the researchers also showed that individuals with anemia were 45% more likely to have at least one microbleed. And microbleeds are tiny brain hemorrhages caused by structural abnormalities. More microbleeds is associated with cognitive decline and dementia. So that's what Grandpa had, was all these microbleeds. After his big major bleed, he had all these little minor bleeds, like just by hitting his head, and his brain would bleed, and then they'd have to take him off the blood thinner and all that. So all of that damages the tissue, but so does anemia. So I got a little worried about it, So, but hold on, I got more highlights.
Anything good in there?
Well, okay, so it just says if there's too little of hemoglobin, the brain is becomes hypoxic, which is, I guess, just means lack of oxygen. And then it produces inflammation and damages the brain. So that might be my problem in general, is that my brain is damaged. I don't think it's the alcohol. I think it's anemia. Right?
Yeah, well, according to this article, people's brains with ADD are smaller.
That's true. I did see that.
Which is, okay, we were talking before this, but I'm like, I just feel like that's strange because I got a big head.
She does.
Does that mean there's empty space in there or something?
She's just got a big empty head.
Big empty head. The overall analogy for ADD, yeah.
Your brain is like this far away from your skull. It's like, oh, okay.
It rattles sometimes,
Rattles around. Yeah, that happens. So, isn't that interesting, though, that is an actual thing, that the brain is smaller? What is that? I wonder. Just
probably blood flow.
Not enough neurotransmitters, not enough, oxygen,
I think it all comes
all
back
of
to
it.
blood,
So, is there anything in there that you would like to highlight for the listeners?
No, I already talked about it.
It's
in my mind.
She's so millennial. I had to print it up and highlight it and then read it. I can't remember. because I have
Lick your finger
anemia.
first and then thumb through it. But it's good. It's okay. You know,
It's okay.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
And one thing about losing your mind is that there's a certain pleasure in some of it. You know, like I know a lot of really happy people with dementia because they don't really know what's happening.
I thought you were gonna say a lot of happy people that were like stupid or something like that.
Well,
you know?
okay, there is that, but
Ignorance is bliss.
right. You know, they're not necessarily stupid, but they're just not aware of the same level of problems that we are because we're really serious.
Super serious.
All the time. Hey, my stepdaughter is pregnant.
Yay!
So my husband, he's really not my husband. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but I started telling everybody that we never got married. We never got around to it. We've been together 30 years and we never got married. I kept it a secret because Grandma was so embarrassed that we weren't legally married. And so I slowly let it out a little bit, but now that Grandpa's gone, I started telling everybody at the dinner after his service. And they're like, whoa, that's worth coming just for that, you know, because it's like my final secret, you know, no more secrets, but I just kept it going because Grandma was so embarrassed that she told everyone we were married. And so I just kept it going. It was just easier than experiencing her wrath. But
yeah, that's so unfortunate.
Which is, I mean, we seriously never got around to it. But we've had a very complicated life in a lot of ways. You know, we had Megan to raise and she was troubled and we had a lot of health issues. And then it led into even more and more and more. And it's just been that way. So to plan a wedding for us, it wasn't important to me. And Terry had already done that. And he had a child. So anyway, she's not really, I guess, my stepdaughter because, you know, whatever, but it doesn't matter, you know, because she calls me mom and all that. Her mom isn't necessarily in that role for her. So
you can mother someone and not be their mother.
Yeah, you don't have to. I think she's talking about me. I tried to watch.
How did you guess?
I tried to watch Gilmore Girls last night, but I don't have I got to find my password for Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You should watch it. Because, I mean, I think anyone that's listening that's watched it will know that a lot of stuff that you talked about with, like, the image and stuff is very similar to Emily Gilmore.
Okay.
With Grandma. How she didn't, like, everything had to be, like, very proper and, you know, marriage and then kids and all that stuff. And
all right.
It's not always the case for everyone, you know.
And
like,
Emily was the mom?
She's the grandma.
Oh, okay.
It's a great character.
Like, yeah, I gotta see. Yeah, I really want to watch, but I gotta get the password from Terry. Hopefully he'll give it to me.
Yeah.
So anyway,
hopefully.
She was.
Anyways, congratulations to Megan.
Right. So so this is funny because.
Big tangent there.
I know. This is it. This is how it goes with us. But she's 12 weeks pregnant. She didn't plan it. She's 37 years old. But she didn't feel good on birth control pills, so they did other forms of birth control with her fiance, and they knew that it was a higher risk, and they said, if we get pregnant, it's meant to be. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, she shows up pregnant, and what's hilarious about it is that when she realized, wait a second, I missed my period, and it's been a while, and I don't feel right, she went and got 10 pregnancy tests. And she like hydrated
above average
all day long. She's like a little bit, histrionic. And she tested all of them for over the course of about 5 hours. She just kept drinking water so she could pee again before she called her fiance. And then she's like, I'm fucking pregnant, and he just started laughing because she was so hysterical, but in a good way. Huh. But then when he got home, she had all the pregnancy tests lined up on the table. And he goes down, he's counting them all. Yep, you sure are pregnant. 10 of them.
Took 10 tries to figure it out.
So Terry's happy. She's having a little boy. The due date is December 2nd. And Terry's over the moon. And I hope it helps him continue to, keep going on with this terrible cancer that he has. So
Yeah, he's got a grandkid to meet.
Yeah, he does. A little rugrat. And she's calling me grandma. I'm like, I'm not do I look like a grandma, you guys? You know, grandmas don't drink, do they? Well, yours did.
Mine did every night. Yeah, a couple glasses.
But she's like, oh, you know, you can take care of it and this and that and babysit. And I'm like, I don't know anything about babies.
Right.
I didn't have access to...
You can watch the dogs while they...
the dogs I could do.
the baby stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But everyone says they think I'm going to fall in love with this little rugrat. And I might corrupt it. They're a little worried about that.
Probably.
I'll be 5 years old. I'll be like, hey, you want a beer? I'll be like Uncle Bob.
It's fine. It happens in Wisconsin all the time. Yeah. You probably... I mean, but I think you'll be the cool... You'll be a cool grandma.
A cool grandma. I mean, because, I just don't even look close to a grandma, right?
Mm-mm.
Thank you.
Right? No, you don't look like a grandma.
Please.
You look good.
Oh, man. For 56,
pretty.
right? 56. I look pretty good. Did I tell you about the podiatrist that I went to?
Yeah, but...
Right. Okay, so this is funny. So we're just now randomly talking. But she came in and she said, are you fully vaccinated? And I said, yes. She said, okay, great. Let's take off our masks. I can't stand it. And I'm like, oh, great. I love you. So we took off our masks and then we were talking and looking at each other. And she says, so looking at my feet and just saying, so how old are you? I didn't look at that part of your health history. And I said, I'm 56. And she goes, oh, wow. She goes, I thought you were more like my age, which was 44. And my mouth opened and I was going to say, you don't look 44. You look like you're 56.
And you pulled back.
But
I'm so proud of you.
pulled back. I'm not an edited person. But I pulled back. I go, well, you don't. And then I go, thank you. But she didn't look 44. She should keep her mask on.
Oh my God, Mary. I don't even have anything to say to that. I mean...
See what I mean about not being edited?
Yeah, and that's fine.
She'll never hear it, I hope.
She starts looking up your podcast and everything.
She'll probably botch my foot surgery.
Ooh. Oh, she has to do a surgery on you still?
No, I'm not going to go with her. She's not in my network, so it's all good. I'll never see her again, hopefully.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah.
Well, then carry on. Yeah.
All right. Oh, gosh. That was fun today.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I think we talk about a lot of heavy stuff, but sometimes it's nice to not.
Yeah.
And talk about, this kind of stuff and just hang out with each other.
And that's what happens with old people. When I go over to the senior living place, a lot of them have dementia or just old brains. And you start talking and laughing and you just have such a great time. And a lot of times you keep saying the same thing, but you still have a good time. And so, we have that to look forward to. I'll probably get there before you because I'm always older than her. It doesn't ever change.
I know. I think I'm catching you, and then you turn a year too. It's really weird.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's chronological age and then there's mental age, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that.
You might be going backwards a little bit, but
a lot. It's the anemia. Right.
Anyways, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I'm happy.
Are you guys happy? I'm just kidding. But
if you're happy, subscribe on Patreon and support us so we can continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, we would really appreciate it. So,
on that note, thanks for listening and watching.
And until next time.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. guys. Thanks for checking out this week's episode of No More Secrets. If you liked what you saw, subscribe below.
And be sure to check out our website, thealbrechtauthors.com, where you can also purchase a copy of our book, Broken Neck. You better f***ing do it.